In a previous video, I showed you how to make this mini grandma pizza. And one question kept popping up. How much does this slice cost to make? Today, we're breaking it down ingredient by ingredient, and the total might surprise you. Now, I'm just a guy making pizzas at home. I don't have any special hookup for ingredients or pricing. Everything I buy comes straight from my local grocery store, so these are prices that you can get as well in 2025. I'll be figuring out the cost of each ingredient through 3 steps. The first thing I'm gonna do is convert the package into grams. Ounces for the sauce and tablespoons for the olive oil. Number 2, divide the package in grams by the grams that I use in my recipe. And that will help us to determine the number of portions in each package. And finally, I'll be dividing the package price by the number of portions. And that will give us the cost per portion. And all along the way, we're gonna keep a running tally of these numbers so that we can see exactly how much this pizza slice cost me to make. And since the dough is the foundation of any great pizza, I think this is great. That's where we're gonna kick off this cost breakdown. My mini grandma pizza dough consists of 90 grams of all-purpose flour, 57 grams of water, half a gram of instant yeast, 2 grams of sea salt, and 1 tablespoon of olive oil. First, I'm gonna pour 90 grams of the all-purpose flour into our bowl. 1 5-pound bag of all-purpose flour is 2,268 grams. 2,268 grams divided by 90 equals 25.2 portions. This bag of flour cost me $8.99, and divided by 25.2 portions equals 35 cents per 90 gram portion. Next, I add half a gram of instant yeast. At 66 cents for each yeast packet, I divide that by 14 portions to get 5 cents per half gram portion. Add 2 grams of sea salt. 500 grams divided by my 2 gram portion equals 250 portions. We get a cost of 1 cent per 2 gram portion. Before we add our liquids, we want to stir this so that everybody kind of gets to know each other in here. Now we want our water to be between 90 and 100 degrees to get this yeast working. And we can put this in the microwave for under 10 seconds. Now the way I know that I'm at the right temperature is I use my thermometer pen. Then we add our water to the mix. Add 1 tablespoon of olive oil. We get a cost of 37 cents per tablespoon. Then we start our mix. When you get the dough to this stage, it's kind of just a rough, shaggy little thing. Pushing it down into the flour, folding it on itself as I'm pushing. Then I like to just kind of smack the thing down in there. While you're doing this, you're kind of like stretching the dough as you're picking it up and as you're kind of slapping it down back into the bowl. This is what we're looking like right here. Place it in our bowl, cling wrap, and we cover it up. And we're gonna go ahead and put this guy in the fridge for like 20 hours. Right, now that's dough done. Let's take a look at what all the ingredients cost us. Water, I'm not too sure on price because I just use it from my fridge. I could use a bottle, but you know, all of our dough ingredients cost us a total of 78 cents. We'll keep a running tally for our total spend here. After 20 hours, we take our dough out of the fridge and let it start coming up to room temp. So this is my normal 12 by 16 pan, but today we're working with the 5 by 7. Now about 2 hours before the bake, I transfer my dough to the pan. We want to add 1 tablespoon of olive oil to the bottom of the pan. And we do that because we want that really crispy undercarriage to this grandma pizza, nice and browned. Gently take the dough out, place it in our pan. Then we want to start to press this dough out with our fingers. And as we're pressing, we're stretching so that we try to stretch this dough as far as we can. It's probably not going to want to go to the entire width of the pan just yet. Probably have to let it sit out a little bit longer. If yours gets there in the first try, great. But oftentimes mine doesn't. And I do 2 stretches total. You can even kind of take the edges and give them a little bit of persuasion. Pretty close, but you can see how it still wants to retract a little bit. So what we're going to do is go ahead and cover this guy back up while it comes up to room temp a little while longer. Probably like 20 to 30 minutes. And while this dough is sitting out, we'll go ahead and add that 1 tablespoon of olive oil to our total cost. Let's get into some toppings. I got my brick part skim mozzarella cheese. We got some cup and crisp pepperonis, basil. Now I do love making cheese blends, and oftentimes I'll add some white cheddar and provolone. It makes such a good, sharp, salty bite out of the cheese. Today I'm gonna keep it a little more simple, and we're gonna do just the mozzarella cheese. At $6.89, 5.7 portions equals $1.20 per portion. So let's add our cheese totals to the list. And for our sauce, we're gonna use this Cento crushed tomato. Take our $3 can of crushed tomatoes and divide it by 8 portions, and we get 37 cents per portion. And to this Cento sauce, I'm gonna add red pepper flake, oregano, and sea salt. No, I'm not gonna use this whole 28-ounce can of sauce on my 5x7 slice today, but I am making a 12x16 tonight, so kind of killing 2 birds with 1 stone here. For this entire 28-ounce can, I only used about 3/4 a teaspoon of oregano, half a teaspoon of red pepper flakes, and just a couple grams of sea salt. But again, for our 5x7 slice, we're only using like 7 tablespoons of this. So let's add our sauce plus herbs and seasonings to the totals list. Now I love these pepperoni cup and crisps. And today on our 5x7, we're gonna use 12 of these bad boys. We got our ronis, we got our cheese, we got our sauce. Let's wash some basil. Divide the package price of $3.99 by 6.7 portions, and we get a total cost of 59 cents per portion. Now back to this guy. See how it doesn't really stretch too much on its own, but it's been sitting here for a good half hour. I also got the oven warming up. Yeah, this is stretching much nicer now. See how we can just get it right to the edge of the pan. You see? Now I've got my oven heated up to 500 degrees, and we got our little 5x7 slice here. Just the dough in it, and I'm gonna par bake this first. What I really like is having cheese that is nice and melted and not too browned up. And what I found is that par baking this for 4 minutes with just the dough, par bake, then taking it out and topping the pizza is really the way that I like it. And in we go. We're gonna time that for 4 minutes. All right, 4 minutes is up.
Whoa, look for a teeny tiny dough.
And here's what our par bake looks like. You see how it's just kind of like that solid thing now. Olive oil is still even kind of up on it there. It's not fully into the edges here just yet, which is okay. Once we put our cheese on it, it's all gonna kind of meld to that mold. Now I've messed with letting the par bake cool down entirely. In this case, we're just going ahead and loading all our toppings on. 80 grams of cheese I found on this little 5x7 slice is pretty generous. It basically covers the entire thing and leaves none of the dough exposed. So, got our Cento sauce. Again, we're just doing about 7 tablespoons of this. Then we got our 12 pepperonis. Back in the oven this goes, about that same spot over the coil for another 8 minutes at least. I did not put the basil on yet. I do save that for last after it comes out of the oven. But we are gonna add it to our cost. The package costs $2.29. So divide that by 7.5 and we get 30 cents per portion. Let's add this last ingredient to our totals list. And we can finally reveal that our total cost is $3.64. That's what we're looking like right now. That edge is just fantastic. $3.64 to make this pizza. Yeah, it's a pretty simple one. Just mozzarella cheese, some pepperoni, some basil, delicious, crispy, crusty dough. We could definitely add more ingredients to it, but it would ramp up the complexity and add a little bit more cost as well. So I wanted to keep this first one pretty simple. But just check out those edges. My grandma pizza is kind of more like a Detroit meets a grandma style. I love that crunch that you get with each of these edges. The pepperoni is on top, cup and crisp. You get a little bit of the charring, though I think I'd still want to see a little bit more charring. maybe another minute or two in the oven. And then the bottom, it looks like we have really well done edges and not so done in the middle. It is definitely still done, but I get it. It looks a lot lighter. And what I honestly would like to see is a little bit more of an even color throughout the entire bottom. But so how about the taste? Which edge am I gonna go for? I think this guy looks like the best edge to me. We got some of that frico, the pepperoni right on the edge with sauce, nice crispy bottom. Oh, my mouth is watering already. Man. Come on, man. That is so good. It is so good. Now the last part of this video is that cost. And when I realized that this slice costs $3.64 to make, I'm like, man, what if you had a pizza shop, right? And you were trying to charge for this? Is that really like a $7 slice? Like that seems like a lot. I don't know, 5 by 7, I get it. Everyone's probably like, dude, I could take down like 3 of those things and no way am I paying like $21 for that. So many places that have really expensive prices and it's because ingredients cost so much, right? Cheese for sure is one of the big ones. Olive oil is kind of one of those ones where, hey, if you're using a quality olive oil, you know, mine here is 37 cents every tablespoon that I use. The pepperonis for sure aren't cheap either, but the cheese was double the price of those pepperonis. So I just find it interesting. If I want to double the cost of this so that I can actually make a profit, like, you know, are people going to pay that? It's an interesting thing that I consider, you know? And when I go to my favorite pizza places and I see that their pies are $20 and $24, it's like, okay, you know, ingredients are expensive. What can you say? But anyway, if you haven't seen, I have another video out of making this pizza step by step. I also have some videos out of making a full 12 by 16 of this as well. I wonder what that would cost. What are you all working on at home? Thank you so much for watching and talk to you in the next one.